Buffalo Latino Lens, sponsored by Start With Sleep, The Doze, Neighborhood Health Center, the Hispanic Women's League, and the Buffalo Latino Village. Welcome to Buffalo Latino Lens. On this edition, we speak with Maria Perez Gomez, the author of The Magical Closet Mystery. We also have a chat with Gina Aquino, who just opened up Rumbón Dance Studio in Lackawanna. And we have a conversation with Heidy Honrado, owner of Sinarahs Cakes, as she discusses the work that she's doing, which supports schools in the Dominican Republic as well as in Haiti. First up, Maria Perez Gomez and the Magical Closet Mystery.
My name is Maria Perez Gomez. I am the author of The Magical Closet Mystery. And what inspired me to write The Magical Closet Mystery initially was that we were producing one-act, 10-minute musicals with Raíces Theater Company. I've always loved working with children, and so I was inspired to write something for children. Now, in terms of the theme of the magical closet, at a very young age, I lost my baby brother, Oscar Roberto, and every time I would think about him, if I was sad, I would hide in a closet. So, fast forward many years later, that happened when I was 11, and in my 50s, I had the opportunity to write a book where I could then focus on the closet being a magical place and only good things happening. The book centers on grief, identity, and family. And the reason that I chose to focus on grief was because I lost my baby brother when I was 11. I lost my father when I was 39. And the impact that these tragic losses had on my life led me to want to share with other people how to process it. And it ended up being through a book and doing it in a way, focusing on children, first of all, but doing it in a way that felt accessible, that felt like an adventure while you were processing difficult emotions. And within that adventure, I included the Puerto Rican culture, which is super important to me. And I dedicated the book to my father, Rafael Perez, who was a lover of Puerto Rico. He wrote this line that says, Puerto Rico, tierra grata, que con pena te dejé. Puerto Rico, enchanted island, with sorrow I left you. I wanted to honor him, honor everything he, my grandfather Jorge, my grandmother Elena, my mom Nivian had taught me about the richness of our culture. And obviously in mentioning their names, you understand the value of family for me. It's always about family and how can we honor that rich tradition of family that has been passed down to us through our abuelos. Luca's longing for Puerto Rico is very powerful in that it is something that I can relate to. There's always a part of us in everything that we write. There's always truth to it, right? It stems and is inspired by our own experiences. And just recently went to Puerto Rico a couple times within the last year. One of them was to tour to speak about my book. And then the second time was just, was for fun to celebrate my 30th anniversary. Every time I left, it was difficult because it honestly felt like there was a sorrow that it involved. There was a grief that it involved. Not knowing when I was going to return, leaving always felt difficult. And so, and in that way, I feel like Luca, there are a few things, right? There's a loss that he has experienced. And if you want to know more, you got to read the book. But there's a loss that he has experienced. And all he had known up until that loss was the island, was Puerto Rico. And if you know, you know. The beauty and the magic of the island is something that you never outgrow. It's something that never leaves you. I hope that the message that young readers take away from this story, one of them is be kind. Everybody's going through something. Somebody has experienced loss in some way. So I hope that children and just people in general, adults too, that we learn to be kind to people that are going through difficult situations. I hope that children and adults alike, humanity in general, can honor our rich differences and discover that it is so much more that unites us than separates us. So I long to see and experience that moment where it all comes together, the kindness and the celebration of human kindness. Centering on Puerto Rican culture was extremely important to me in this story. I identify as a Latina Puerto Rican woman, and I'm really proud of my heritage, and sharing that with other people is really important to me. It's important to me to highlight everything that has to do with Puerto Rican culture. It's important that I celebrate every aspect of it, and it's important that I make it known. I am very proud, like I said before, and it's not something that I ever want to hide. I think it's important to address grief in children's book because I don't think it's something that's talked about enough. As somebody who's experienced loss, I remember hiding in a closet to process loss. Not having an adult, my parents didn't have the tools to help me process that loss. It wasn't something that you talked about in school either. So rather than processing it, I hid. In my adult years, it then becomes, I had the opportunity to have the outlet through creativity, through the arts, but it wasn't something that was accessible. And there's a certain shame as well that surrounds grief. There's a certain shame that surrounds speaking about vulnerable emotions. And I'm hoping with this book to mitigate some of that and to create safe spaces where children can talk about sadness and realize that it's a normal human emotion that we have to process. And there's no reason that anybody should go through that sadness alone. I hope that people understand the array of opportunity, of purpose that comes from pain. Pain doesn't exist for the sake of pain being an isolated event. If you take pain and you add purpose, it will always, always equal greatness. And I hope that people can get that from it. Understand that your pain with purpose will change people's lives. Luca couldn't stop himself. He didn't want to stop himself. All the notes returned fresh from a well of love in his memory. Then, just as the rivers pour into the ocean, Luca poured out all the feelings he'd been bottling up for so long. I really miss you, Papi. Anytime I was discouraged, you played your cuatro and sang the Little Lie song until I fell asleep. Lelo, 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 lie. Luca continued to sing, repeating the chorus over and over again, moving closer to hope with each note.
How well you sleep impacts how you show up in the world each day. My mission is to change the conversation about the way we view and prioritize sleep. Through my companies, Start With Sleep, I educate communities, workplaces, and schools. Through the Doze, we provide a line of sleep-enhancing products to help you sleep better and deeper. And through the Doze podcast, we offer you actionable tips to put the science of sleep into action. Are you ready to show up at your best?
When I come in here, if I've got a list of questions, they take the time to listen to those questions. We talk about them, they answer them for me.
Para mí es como un clic que haya entre el médico, el paciente, y más si es del mismo idioma que uno.
We've proven that if you come to our health center that your health's going to be better than if you go to many other places.
I believe we provide the best type of healthcare there is.
This segment of Buffalo Latino Lens is sponsored by Neighborhood Health Center, healthcare that welcomes you.
My name is Gina, owner of Rumbón Dance Studio, and it's a new dance studio that teaches Colombian salsa. The difference between Colombian salsa, salsa caleña, and international style the more broad style, is that it's a little more fast. The music is faster and there's more intricate footwork involved. The amount of work that goes into learning that style of salsa really depends on how much of basic international style you know, because you sort of build on that knowledge. I learned mine over COVID in the house. I wanted something to do cardio with, and no one could leave. You couldn't go to the gym. So I was doing my cardio with this super fast Caleña routines. Well, as I was, Googling like everyone does, I came across Stephanie Moreno, who's a Colombian dancer. She's been on some TV shows, so she's pretty famous, but she had a lot of different routines. And she broke it down, she made it easy, she made it fun. And then from there, there's a lot of tutorial videos out there from different, online dance schools. And they're really challenging. If you do something for 2 minutes straight, you're breaking a sweat. So what brought me to opening up a dance studio is the fact that I took classes at some different places, and it just wasn't what I was looking for. I wanted something a little more casual, a little less pressure. Like I took ballroom dance, and you have to get the steps perfect. When you put on a show, there's so much practicing that goes into the show. So to have something more casual that I can have fun with and bring families in to do it, kids, moms, something that's, you're not worried about being perfect, you just want to have fun and exercise, really stay active. I knew it was very important to keep dance in my kids' lives in a way that was meaningful for them. Because it has to do with their identity, right? I feel like, the Sicilian culture in Buffalo, it's kind of been watered down a lot, but there's such a strong presence of Hispanic culture, and I wanted them to be proud of themselves. I want them to love who they are, and so I got them into bomba dancing, and being a lover of music and dance myself, I took classes there too. And it was something we could bond over. Not only now they teach their friends about bomba, but it's something that we could do together. I think it's really important to respect the culture of what I'm participating in, the dance that I bring in my studio. And, being that a mother of children who are part of the Hispanic community, I think what better way than to have a place they can come and dance something that they have heritage to. Part of my love of learning other cultures comes from, me being an ESL teacher and seeing so many different students coming from all areas of the world. And I love just learning about other cultures, their food, their language, and of course their dance. Walking into the studio, people should know that my level 1 salsa class is the basics. You're not going to be overwhelmed. You're just going to learn the very basics, and it is like the international style. Level 2 will be where we get into more footwork and speed. But it is such a mix of different styles that goes together. So we start slow.
You start slow, but it's fast.
It gets fast.
Yeah.
It's my hope that more people in our area will catch on, and they'll see us dancing this style, and they'll be like, oh, I want to try that, because that's different than what I've seen normally in social dancing here. There's so many nuances to all the different iterations of salsa that I wanted to do something that was a little bit different, but still make it accessible to people. So, once you get the form right, then we can turn up the speed factor. Rumbón Dance Studio is on Facebook and Instagram. We're also at rumbondancestudio.com, where you can sign up for classes there. We have classes in 5-week sessions, Mondays and Thursdays, 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m.
Buffalo Latino Lens was proud to capture Rumbón Dance Studio's grand opening in Lackawanna.
background, or skill level. It's a place where people can pause and fully be present in the moment through movement, musicality, and interconnection. It's a place that puts more emphasis on having fun than perfection. Every day, I'm inspired by the different cultures around me, whether it be from my family, the Buffalo community, or the school community I service in my 9-to-5. The different ways we dance, sing, and make music are all unique and worthy of celebration and appreciation.
For information on classes, please visit Rumbón Dance Studio's website.
I'm Gina Aquino from Rumbón Dance Studio, and you're watching Buffalo Latino Lens.
How well you sleep impacts how you show up in the world each day. My mission is to change the conversation about the way we view and prioritize sleep. Through my companies, Start With Sleep, I educate communities, workplaces, and schools. Through the Doze, we provide a line of sleep-enhancing products to help you sleep better and deeper. And through the Doze podcast, we offer you actionable tips to put the science of sleep into action. Are you ready to show up at your best?
When I come in here, if I've got a list of questions, they take the time to listen to those questions. We talk about them, they answer them for me.
Para mí es como un clic que haya entre el médico, el paciente, y más si es del mismo idioma que uno.
We've proven that if you come to our health center that your health's going to be better than if you go to many other places.
I believe we provide the best type of healthcare there is.
This segment of Buffalo Latino Lens is sponsored by the Hispanic Women's League. Empowering dreams, elevating communities.
Heidy Honrado is first of all, a God-fearing woman. I am a wife, I am a mother, I am a sister. I am someone who loves service and who has a God-given purpose of mission. So I came to the United States. I was born in the Dominican Republic. I came to the United States when I was 8 years old, and I lived in the Bronx. So I came to Buffalo in 1996. I didn't know what Buffalo was. I knew I wanted to get away from home, but not too far. And I came here to Buffalo in 1996. I immediately, because of my nature to always help and participate in the community, I immediately got connected with women organizations, some in the community and some in the school. So I got to meet a lot of people, a lot of women who have influenced who I am and who have become today, and I continue to grow. So Sinarahs came about. Sinarah is my middle name, first of all. I didn't like it for a while, and now I'm like, oh, it's cool. But when I started my nonprofit, One Island, One Heart Incorporated, it was to provide service to Haiti and Dominican Republic. First, it started with Haiti. And when I began to fundraise funds for Haiti, we started Lunch with a Purpose. And my mother and I would do those lunches and sell them, and we were able to sponsor a lot of the children. And then when the opportunity of Dominican Republic came along, and I was like, oh my gosh, God, how am I going to do this? And the idea came about of doing cakes. And I remember when it came to my mind, I rushed to my husband and I said, hey, I think I have to do Dominican cakes so I can fundraise money for Dominican Republic. He just started laughing because he said, you can't bake, not even from a box. And that's how you know that this is true. I know that it's my gift of service. And I began to just teach myself and really learn from that purpose. And I was able to fundraise $1,000 during that little bit of time. And I was able to assist in providing the school with it was an AC system. So the children in that community, they had to learn outside. It was too hot inside. So it made a whole big difference to the way they were receiving their education. So that's how Sinarahs Cakes came about. So, ever since then, I've been doing it little by little. And now it's just, people are discovering the flavor of the amazing Dominican cake. Business and service for me is important to connect because I am a service person. I have a servant heart. It always has to have a purpose. Everything that I do has to have a purpose. If I'm going to put my time, it has to be able to be meaningful. So when before COVID, my nonprofit, One Island, One Heart, was thriving. I was able to, as I mentioned, I was able to do all those fundraisers and do what I needed to do to support them. But after COVID, things kind of died down. I did not continue the formal organization, but I still continue my family and myself, and with the assistance also of my church family, we continue to support the mission in Dominican Republic. So I still have my contacts over there. Now we've grown to supporting 2 schools. And actually for this Mother's Day, and I've posted it already, but for this Mother's Day, I want to extend it a little bit more, not only to the education and the families, but specifically to women, single mothers that are entrepreneurs. Now that I am grinding, right, working full time and doing this business on the side, I know how difficult it can be, especially if you have to wake up at 5 a.m. or much earlier and try to go to bed late and I can't even imagine for them how difficult it would be. But I want to make that impact this year. So I've extended the service that Sinarahs Cakes does in Dominican Republic, and we are going to provide those women entrepreneurs, single mothers, with assistance for their business. If it's baking, if they need anything for the kitchen, if it's cooking, some of them are nail technicians. So that's the mission for this year. And I'm really excited about that because it's growing. So what does it mean, Sinarahs Sweets, to me? Aside from the service and the fundraising part of it, there are memories attached to me to that. And when I think about Memorias de Suspiro, and that's with my grandma. So I remember I grew up with my grandma, and I will be playing La Galeria with my cousins, and she was sitting there. She would sit there. She wouldn't do it often, but she would sit there with her paila con un fork, right? Y batiendo por horas, because they didn't have those machines that we have now, to do this delicious suspiro. And it was one of the best treats that we ever got. And that memory is always there. So when I began my mom is there, so oh my God, sorry, Rocco.
Take your time.
Ugh. So those memories are important to me. And beyond that, my grandmother was someone that was always so giving. And the other reason when I started One Island, One Heart was also because of her. Because she would feed everybody. And I know we can say that about our grandmas in our countries. She would feed everyone, right? Hasta el puerquito de la sirvienta de la vecina, right? I remember going and taking the scraps of the food. But her giving heart has been the essence of all of this. So yeah, that's the culture, the connection to me personally. But bringing this culture, bringing this flavor to Buffalo, it has made an impact that I didn't know was going to happen. And it's happening. People are saying, I didn't even know that I'm the only one that makes this here. And I know that, the culture here in Buffalo is rich with the Puerto Rican culture, and it's amazing. But one thing that I also know is that here in Buffalo, there's an amazing food culture, right? You can say whatever you want to eat and you can go get it, including Dominican food. But now that there's more of our Dominican people are coming to Buffalo, and they're receiving what I have. So I think it's a beautiful thing. It's an honor for me to be able to be the only one doing this, but also to share that with people. I've had people tell me, oh, wow, I haven't had Dominican cake in years, or wow, this is really authentic, because I make sure I don't just make the cakes, but I keep that authenticity, that memory. And I remember when I was tasting and going into the lab, I call my kitchen the lab, going into the lab to try and figure out, and I cried many times trying to get the right consistency of that Suspiro. But thinking of my grandma, that kind of kept me focused on what is that flavor I'm looking for. The most impactful feedback I had, this one lady, non-Latina, but she tried the cake and she began to literally cry. And I felt bad. I said, why are you crying? And she said, because this reminded me of my grandma. And that is so special. And I'm like, wow, I really have something here. Some of us, I know some of my family members can go back to our country, but being able to, and when this family member tries my treats, they're like, wow, this reminds me of cuando, yo estaba allá, estaba chiquito, y, and that's what I want. So the sweet, Dominican sweet flavors from Sinarahs Cakes is those street sweets that we find, right? And I want to bring that and give it the respect that it deserves, but also to give someone that hasn't been back or not able to be back to relive those childhood memories again, like I have. I've participated in groups with other entrepreneurs, how to learn how to do certain things, or defining our business, defining who we are, defining our brand. And it has been a journey in its own. I've had to do a lot of ugly cries and, shred the paper and start over, but it all starts with you. We all do something because, we like it, we enjoy it or whatever, but it starts with you, and you have to know who you are. And in this season of my life, I'm really getting to know who I am, being comfortable in my own skin, being comfortable with my own thoughts, being comfortable with what I say, with my voice. And that always has been a big thing, is owning my voice, sharing my voice, and being okay with it. And this is a huge part. I always like to be in the background and do things quietly, as I've been doing. But I just want to give advice to those who are not sure. Just go for it. Just do what you got to do. Don't let anything or anyone define you. You are who you are. Just find out who that is.
Latino Lens, sponsored by Start With Sleep, The Doze, Neighborhood Health Center, the Hispanic Women's League, and the Buffalo Latino Village.